Okay, so following on from static lifetimes, let's consider static versus constant in Rust. So with a constant, for instance, days in the week, always going to be 7. There's the code, and it will print 7. There are 7 days in the week. So the general rules are use static for mutable constants that might change during runtime. That's quite a lot to get your head around. Use constant for immutable constants known at compile time. And a spoiler alert, this is the one that you will most often need to use. A static item is similar to a constant, except that it represents a precise memory location in the program. I actually ran this earlier, and I very rarely use this. Hands up if anybody has ever used this. Rust C, Rust compile, -- explain, and then the error code. Static and constant variables can refer to other constant variables, but a constant variable cannot refer to a static variable. Wow. So that's bit, I wouldn't say it's above my head, but it's something which I've not really had to encounter just yet. Scroll down. So there's the example, and you get that from running Rust C explain. So static or constant. Using static, if you've got large amounts of data being stored, the single address property of statics is required. Interior mutability is required. Constant will always be immutable. There's some good Rust documentation. So you've got these 2 links here. I'll try and leave a link to this in the description of the video. So in summary, both static and constant share the property of having a global scope. Right, let's look at some code, and then we'll come back to that. Too much theory? Yeah. So we've got constant, the days in the week, 7. Static, so we declare a static variable. My static variable is equal to 42. When we run this, both work, so it's fine. Static variable is 42, 7 days in the week. So they both work. There's no wrong answer. There's nothing that doesn't compile. But if we come back to this, there's some key differences between static and const. So as we've just alluded to, mutability. By default, static variables are immutable, but you can, if you use unsafe, you can make them mutable. As we just said earlier, constants are always immutable. They cannot be made mutable or modified during runtime. So therein lies the difference, really. It's to do with runtime and compile time. And in summary, if you need mutability on runtime initialization, so during runtime, if you need to modify, you might need to use static. If you need always immutable and it's known at compile time, then you'd use constant. But as per the documentation, they pretty much say use constants in general is a rule of thumb. Use a constant unless you need something more, something which constant can't do for you. So yeah, constants, they are evaluated during compilation, and their values must be literals or other constants. Static variables can be initialized at runtime, and their initialization can involve complex expressions or function calls. So if you want something that's always going to be the same, stick with constants. And as we saw there, they both work, but really you want to be using constant unless you've got a special use case, such as large amount of data, and then you get into the realms of using unsafe, which is above my pay grade, and yeah, I probably won't be covering that anytime soon. So if you found this video helpful, interesting, if I've said something completely wrong, just put it in the comments, let me know. But I just thought this would be just a good thing to just to bring up, really, because well, for instance, who knows? You might get asked the difference in a job interview. Who knows? So yeah, constant versus static, and they crop up in all of the languages. So if you're familiar with Python, you might know what it means in Python, but then when you jump across to Rust, slightly different context. So yeah, it's just good to kind of have a think about it and then consider what you will do as a rule of thumb, and then just be aware that there is an alternative that even if you don't know the full details, you can just think, yeah, but I remember if I use a constant, then it's totally immutable, whereas maybe I might want to modify it. And yeah, let's just go and read about static again. So constant and static. Static is probably not what you're going to be using most of the time, but it's just good to be aware of it. So thanks for watching this video. Thumbs up, subscribe and all that, and I'll see you in the next video.